All right, going to go ahead and get going this morning. Good morning, everyone, whether you're watching us live or watching us recorded. Thanks for tuning in again for another Mornings with the Museum program. My name is Pat Kane, and in just a few short moments, Barb and I are going to share some of our favorite sports stories with you here with this Mornings with the Museum program. But before we do that, we'll do some brief introductions, go over some other housekeeping things, and then jump into today's content. So first, let's learn who's joining us today. Again, I'm Pat Kane, Public Programs Visitor Services Coordinator with the Museum of the Grand Prairie, and doing other cultural and historical programs throughout the Champaign County Forest Preserve District. Barb, would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure, I'm Barb Bolschlager-Garvey. I'm the director of the Museum and Education Department at the Champaign County Forest Preserve District, which means I oversee all kinds of operations here at the museum and also at the Homer Lake Interpretive Center. So that's what I do.
Thanks, Barb.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you tuning in out there, we'd love to learn who you are and where you're watching from. So down in the comments section below, let us know where you are watching from this morning. Roxy is tuning in from New Iberia, Louisiana. Thank you so much for tuning in all the way from Louisiana. But let us know where you're watching from. If you have any questions during the course of the program, we love it when you ask questions. We'd love to answer your questions. Write those down in the comments section below. For those of you who don't know anything about the Museum of the Grand Prairie, the museum opened originally in 1968 as the Early American Museum, and our current mission is to collect, preserve, and interpret the cultural and natural history of Champaign County and East Central Illinois for all people and all visitors. We're part of the Champaign County Forest Preserve District, a collection of 7 forest preserves, educational facilities like our museum and the Homer Lake Interpretive Center, golf course, Kickapoo Rail Trail, and so much more here in East Central Illinois, right here in Champaign County. If you're local, come out and visit us soon at the Museum of the Grand Prairie. We're open Tuesdays through Saturdays, from 1 to 5 p.m. currently. We are abiding by all current public health guidelines. So if you'd like to know more information about how to visit us, what those guidelines we have in place are, feel free to check out ccfpd.org or museumofthegrandprairie.org. And also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more information about everything we're doing at the museum and throughout the Forest Preserve District. So again, let us know where you're watching from by writing that location down below. We would love to know where you're watching from today. And any and all questions you may have, write those in the comments section below. So with that, we're going to jump into today's program, and the theme for this edition is sports stories. Summertime each year is full of fun activities, games, and sports all summer long. And Barb and I have some great content to share with you associated with some of our favorite sports-related history stories. So with that, we're going to dive right in. Barb, did you want to go ahead and go first? And
Sure, why not?
Share your stuff? Okay. I'll share my screen here.
Okay. Well, anybody who knows me knows that there's really only one sport in my head, and that's baseball. So I chose, of course, to talk about baseball today. And since yesterday was the All-Star game, I thought, well, what the heck? Let's talk about some more baseball. So this young man is Snapper Johnson. Snapper Johnson, and my baseball stories are local-ish. They're local people. As you will see, one of them goes beyond local. Snapper was born in 1916 in Mississippi. Went to high school and was lettered in baseball at Central High School. He served in World War II in the Navy. This is a cute little picture of him in the Navy in World War II, thanks to the Johnson family. When he came back from World War II, he studied recreation and physical education at U of I and went on to become the assistant director of the Douglas Center. But his career in baseball was pretty great. In the late 30s, early 40s, and through the 50s. He played baseball in the Eastern Illinois League. And the team that he played for was called Leroy Barnes Red Sox. You can show the next one, I think, Pat. Yeah, there's a picture of the Red Sox later. I don't believe Snapper's actually in this picture. And then the team that followed on that was the Champaign Eagles. Eastern Illinois League is a league of town baseball teams. A small part of it still exists, but it was huge in the 30s and 40s. And can I have the next one, please? In 1943, Snapper, whose nickname was Clam Hands, which is where I think the snap came from, because he could catch a ball like that, right? Actually played on the Royal baseball team, which is pretty unusual if you know anything about Royal. Royal is a pretty homogeneous group of white men, but Snapper was a great player, and so they elected to ask him to play with them in 1943. This is from notes from a Courier newspaper article. So we can see that he was on that team. Next, please. And later in life, he was a Little League coach for 30 years. He was a Little League coach. He was known as one of the fairest coaches, stern, hard coach, worked the kids hard, but everybody appreciated how fair he was. He eventually, in his older years, his wife begged him to quit playing baseball, and he just said, "Can I just play one more game?" So I like to think about that all the time when I'm watching baseball. It's like, can I just watch one more game? Pat, can you show one more? He actually passed the love of baseball on to his family. This is him with his son, who worked for the Park District as well. And my favorite, I wish I had a picture of this, but my favorite story about Snapper is that when he was really older, he liked to watch baseball so much that he would have one TV stacked on top of another TV, so he couldn't watch more than one baseball game at a time. So that's Snapper Johnson, Snapper Clam Hands Johnson. And can we have the next one? Another remarkable baseball player in Champaign County was Dottie Schroeder. Dottie Schroeder was born in Champaign, but she moved to Sedoris, which is a small town south and west of Champaign, when she was 9. And when she was 15, she left school, left her freshman year at Sedoris High School, and went to play for the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. Yes, indeed, that one that's in League of Your Own. And Dottie, some people think that the character in the movie, Dottie Hinson, that Gina Davis played, was modeled after our Dottie Schroeder. Now, Dottie didn't have a sister like in the movie, but Dottie did have a brother who played baseball, Don. He didn't obviously play on All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. This is a picture of Dottie from 1948 from the cover of Parade magazine. So she was well known and loved, and was, attractive enough that they wanted to put her on the cover of Parade. You can show the next one. Here she is in a staged photo yelling, "Play ball." She didn't play catcher much. She actually played shortstop, but I guess they thought that made a great picture. She was the only woman to play in all 12 seasons of the All-American Professional Girls Baseball League. She played 4 more years for an traveling exhibition team. And when she was in the in the professional league. She played for 4 different teams. She played for the South Bend Blue Sox, Kenosha Comets, the Fort Wayne Daisies, and the Kalamazoo Lassies. I just love those names. In 1944, she stole 70 bases.
Wow.
I just think that means that the teams were terrible that year. But go Dottie. The last one, Pat. And I love this too because it shows her at bat. She wasn't terrible at bat, but she wasn't really that remarkable. She was just a great all-around baseball player. Her average, I think, was like 250 batting average. But she actually got better as she went along. And the last year, she played her batting average was 306. I think that's it. But I wanted to say 2 things. One is after she quit baseball, she came home and worked at Collegiate Cap and Gown for 36 years, and died kind of young at 68. And the other thing is that when I did an exhibit on local baseball in 2007, and when I asked for the permission to use the photo from Parade magazine, there is still an All-American Girls Professional Baseball League archive. I asked them to use the picture. And the note that came back was, of course you can use the picture. We all knew Dottie and loved her. So that was very sweet that she was not only a really talented baseball player, but a kind person. And that's all I got.
Nice. Two good baseball players, 2 good people too, it sounds like. Yeah. That's awesome. With some local ties.
Great.
And Barb mentioned she curated an exhibit in 2007, and we're redisplaying that exhibit this summer. Barb, did you want to let folks know about that exhibit real quick? Just a brief overview.
Sure. It's called A Whole Nother Ball Game. And it starts with the 1850s, which is when we first have notice of baseball teams in the area. And it talks about local baseball, both there were 3 area minor league teams. There were some semi-professional teams there. I talk about the Eastern Illinois League, but university baseball. It's all over the place. And the phone is ringing. Do you want me to answer it?
So live program. We got.
Can you mute me?
Yeah, I'll go for it. Yeah, go. All right, you're muted, Barb. Thanks, Barb, for that. And if you want, feel free to. Nobody was on the phone here. It's just Barb and I here at the museum. Thanks for that, Barb. If you want to check out that baseball exhibit, feel free to come and visit us at the museum. As I mentioned before, we're open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 1 to 5 p.m. It features stories of Snapper Johnson, Dottie Schroeder, and a whole bunch more, a whole bunch of other stories related to local baseball history, local baseball figures. All right. So again, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments section down below. I got some other people tuning in, letting us know where they're watching from. My mom is watching from Champaign. I think she's at work right now. So thanks for watching, Mom. Amber tuning in from Thomasboro. Good morning to you as well. And Kathleen tuning in from Canton. So thank you all for tuning in this morning. Okay. So what I decided to talk about this morning is, so we're in sports stories, and coming up at the end of the month is the Summer Olympics are scheduled to take place. Although there's, some interesting things taking place in Japan right now. So at the moment they're still scheduled, and they say they're still going to go on, but we'll see, I guess. But I figured I'd talk about the Olympics again since we're in Summer Olympics season. So I'm going to share my screen one more time. There's this. And all right. So a few things. Well, we're at the beginning here. A few things related to the Olympics and some local ties associated with the Olympics and some Olympic and Paralympic athletes. So first thing I wanted to mention is there is this great tribute memorial to Olympic and Paralympic athletes here in Champaign County, located at Dodds Park near Parkland College. Is this tribute to these Olympic and Paralympic athletes. This huge granite memorial that showcases and includes plaques from Champaign County residents, have local ties, and were competitors and athletes in the Olympic and Paralympic Games. So here's another image of it. It's got this bridge that walks over with these stairs that rise up to this memorial, and it has the Olympic symbol and USA on the image as well. And let's see, am I going in the right direction? Here's just another image of the memorial, and according to a 2016 booklet that was published by the Champaign Park District when they hosted a 25th anniversary of the memorial. They celebrated its 25th anniversary in 2016, meaning that it was the construction was completed in 1991. The tribute, this memorial is conceived as a strong geometric counterpoint to its naturalistic setting. It is embedded in and grows out of the soil of its place, a symbolic reminder of the Olympians' bond with the community that honors them. So the design of the memorial was intentional, and it includes dozens of Champaign County residents who competed in Olympic and Paralympic Games with these plaques on the other side of the memorial as you come through the opening. So go and check it out if you're local, this nice memorial to local Olympic and Paralympic athletes. And I wanted to mention a few athletes. There's tons and tons of Olympic athletes with local ties, but I just pulled out a handful here to share with you this morning, share some of their stories. So this is Frank Murphy, who was a U of I athlete, and at the 1912 Olympic Games actually won a bronze medal in the pole vault. He's shown here in the pole vault. So was a university athlete at the University of Illinois, and following his track and field endeavors at the U of I and at the Olympics, he spent most of his remaining years living in Urbana and working in life insurance. So Frank Murphy won a bronze medal for the U.S. Olympic team in 1912. Pictured here is Nell Jackson. She was part of the 1948 U.S. Olympic team while she was studying at Tuskegee Institute on their track and field team there. And then following her competition as an athlete herself, she coached at Illinois State University and the University of Illinois track teams, and was actually the first Black head coach of the U.S. Olympic women's track and field team. She was also the head coach while she was at the University of Illinois. She was the head coach of the 1970 national champion track team here at the University of Illinois, and also was coach at the 1972 Olympics. I believe that when she became the first Black head coach of the U.S. Olympic women's track and field team, I believe that was in 1956. I could be mistaken, but she again was the head coach for the 1972 Olympic team at those games. Pictured here is Dike Edelman, who some consider to be one of the greatest University of Illinois athletes of all time. He's shown here in his track event that he specialized in, the high jump, jumping over the pole there. And he was a multi-sport athlete, and he's originally from Centralia, Illinois, and then came to the University of Illinois in 1945, where he competed in football, basketball, and track. He was selected in the NBA and NFL drafts, and also went on to compete at the 1948 Summer Olympic Games in London, where he competed in this high jump event. So very talented athlete competing in multiple sports, including the Olympics. Another individual who competed in the 1948 Summer Olympic Games was Dike Edelman's teammate, Herb McKinley, at the University of Illinois. They were teammates at the U of I, And Herb McKinley went on to compete at the 1948 Summer Olympic Games, not for Team USA, but for the Jamaican team. And while he was at the U of I shortly before the 1948 Summer Olympic Games, McKinley actually broke a world record at Memorial Stadium in Champaign in the 440 meters at 46.2 seconds. So a very talented athlete that went to the University of Illinois. And over the course of his career, McKinley won 4 Olympic medals, including a gold medal in the 4x400 race with his Jamaican teammates at the 1952 Summer Olympic Games in Norway. Shown here is Bonnie Blair, born and raised in Champaign, Illinois, competing in the Winter Olympic Games as a speed skater. And Bonnie Blair won numerous medals, won 5 gold, 1 bronze, and it was up until Apollo Ono, the most decorated United States Winter Olympian of all time. And Bonnie Blair, as I mentioned, born and raised right here in Champaign County in Champaign, Illinois. Shown here is Jean Driscoll, very decorated wheelchair athlete who came to the University of Illinois to play wheelchair basketball originally, but then joined the wheelchair track and field team. And over the course of her career, she competed in 4 Summer Paralympic Games, winning 12 medals. Driscoll also was the first person to ever win 7 consecutive Boston Marathon wheelchair events, very prestigious marathon event. Not only in the United States, but across the world. She won 7 consecutive and eventually won an 8th. So she won the Boston Marathon 8 times, which is a pretty astonishing feat for anyone. And shown here is Tyler McGill, who pretty recently attended Champaign Central High School. And following attending Central, he continued his swimming career, eventually going on to win a gold medal at the 2012 Summer Olympic Games as a part of the 4x100 meter medley relay team. So Tyler McGill, another local athlete. Also wanted to show you a few things that we have in our museum's collection related to the Olympics. I've shown these before on some programs, but from the Harvey and Adela Hodges collection, they donated a large amount of Time magazine covers. And shown here from left to right, we've got Time magazine covers with some special stories and special issues. On the far left, Dorothy Hamill shown on the cover from this issue in February of 1976. In the middle, we've got a special issue of the Winter Olympics taking place in 1984 with Phil Maher and Tamara McKinney pictured there in the middle, these skiers. And then on the far right, another special issue issued in July of 1984 before those Olympic Games. And shown here is notable track and field athlete Carl Lewis. So I always love these Time covers just to get a glimpse into some moments in history that they show on these magazine covers. A few other things that I found interesting looking through our archives here at the museum. So shown here is Chantal Bailey. She's a local athlete, teammates with Bonnie Blair, who I mentioned earlier, at the 1994 Winter Olympics as part of the U.S. Olympic team. And she did a really cool thing. She partnered with the News Gazette during the course of those 94 Olympic Games. She kept a diary of her experiences and her times there at the Olympic Games in I believe it was Norway, because at the beginning of this particular diary entry, she talks about how it looked like her mom was having more fun at the Olympics than she was, because she was a tall blonde woman and everybody thought she was Norwegian there. So her mom was having a grand old time with all the fellow Norwegians there at those 94 Olympic Games. So it's a pretty cool diary of Bailey's time at the 94 Olympic Games. Last one here is Tanja Buford Bailey, another former University of Illinois athlete who competed for the U of I from 1990 to 1993. And while she was at the U of I. She qualified for the 1992 Summer Olympic Games, and that made her the first current Illini athlete to make a U.S. Olympic team. She was also the first current Illini athlete to win a medal, where she won a medal in, it's escaping me right now, but I think she won it for a hurdles event at the Olympic Games. She competed in 3 Olympic Games throughout her career: those 1992 games, the 96 games, and the 2000 games that this article from the News Gazette in July of 2000 discusses her thoughts surrounding the 2000 Olympic Games. Following her track and field career at the U of I, and then her career as an athlete competing in these Olympics and many other games, she came back to the U of I, where she was on the coaching staff for the University of Illinois track and field team, where she was the head coach for 5 years. And currently, she is the interim head coach for sprints, hurdles, and relays at the University of Texas, there in Austin, Texas. So we've got quite a few local ties to some Olympic athletes, and I know that there's tons of athletes. I believe I saw an article put out by the university not too long ago that was wishing 21 U of I athletes best of luck in the upcoming Summer Olympic Games. So just a few of those Olympic athletes with local ties that I just mentioned, and there's many, many more, but just wanted to share those stories with you, with the Olympic Games coming up here at the end of the month, scheduled to start. So thanks everybody for tuning in. If you have any questions following the program, feel free to write those in the comments section. We can address those later, even after this live stream. But thanks, Barb, for sharing stories of Snapper Johnson and Dottie Schroeder. And come out and see us at the Museum of the Grand Prairie if you're local. Again, we're open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 1 to 5 p.m. And we'll see you again for another Mornings with the Museum program next month in August, where I will be joined by some fellow Champaign County Museums Network members to share some other great local institutions here in Champaign County, what they're doing here. Barb, any final words?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that a good number of what we presented today came from the Doris K. Wiley Huskins Archive for Cultural Diversity. So we have a large archive, mainly of African American material here at the museum, and that's where a lot of the material came from. So I just wanted to credit that.
Sure.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's great. It's a great archive, very expansive, very large, and it's got a lot of great stories.
And you presented so many of them. It was beautiful, and the Snapper Johnson stuff is from there too. So, Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, Barb. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.